Hey, nerds. We understand you. Drop those controllers. Lose the wizard hat. And ready your Cheetos. It's time for some hard-hitting talk about the movies, books, and games you love. So get ready, oh searcher of useless knowledge. It's time to step into the Geek Cave. Now, broadcasting from a top secret and totally awesome hidden base, I'm Ken Harris, and here's Darrin Wright, Justin White, and Chad Savage.
And welcome back to another edition of the Be Kind Rewind sticker slapped onto an NES cartridge. It's Geek Cave Podcast Gaming. I'm Darrin.
I'm Justin.
I'm Chad.
Yeah, the Blockbuster website as of now is currently active. We're not sure why. So we're going to hope that our nostalgic feelings overwhelm the fact that everyone remembers what it was like going to Blockbuster, and there's a reason they went out of business.
Yeah, it's because they refuse to move forward with the times.
You know who doesn't refuse to move forward with the times? Shirtosaurus. They're digging up clothing from the past so you can look rad today. With great t-shirt, sweater, and hoodie designs on everything geek chic. Whether you're a fan of old school gaming, anime, 80s cartoons, or you're just a little weird, find something for you at Shirtosaurus.com. And Gamefly, they've got membership options for every budget, plus gifts for gamers of all ages. Gamefly has thousands of titles you can keep as long as you want. When you're done, just send it back with the postage-paid envelope for a new one, or keep it forever and pay a lot less than those in-store prices. You can sign up for a free 30-day trial right now using the link at geekcavepodcast.com. All right, gentlemen. If you have not yet, dear listener, please go back and listen to the comics episode. There was some fun stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, Chad.
Yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Demo Derby!
All right, so I played a demo, part of a demo called Process of Elimination.
Okay.
All right. Guys, I'm not feeling too good today. Everything hurts, and I'm tired. My throat feels like I've been trying to fillet a weed eater. And then I played this fucking game. So for those of you who couldn't see, there were definitely air quotes around game. All right? You remember how the best part of Heavy Rain was press X to Jason?
Yes.
Get ready for more of that.
Oh, no.
Because you are going to press X to further the story a bunch. In the time that I play this game, I made 4 decisions that seem to make the slightest bit of difference. What? What's it about? Fine. There's a killer on the loose. He captures 2 people and then quarters them for the entertainment of the masses.
Oh.
The Quartering Duke is the subject now of a person hunt that has gained the attention and has brought in the Detective Alliance, a group of 99 top detectives that are assigned their jobs based on their particular strengths. The whole idea is that the right detective for the right case. You play Wato Hojo, detective number 100, an unremarkable man that aspires to be a detective. Don't worry, he's got a dark past. It's all very mysterious. What followed, as far as my playthrough went, is a whole bunch of character interactions without any real gameplay. Supposedly, there's a game inside this detective novel. It involves directing the detectives to investigate clues, etc. I didn't make it that far because this game decided to spend an agonizing amount of time dumping exposition on me 3 lines at a time. And after the 7th anime stereotype is introduced, and my spouse told me that there are 6 more, I pretty much had my fill. My 4 decisions. I turned on the game.
All right.
I chose the first victim of the game by choosing the first survivor. Don't worry, the survivor gets killed too.
Oh, good.
Oh, well.
So they only got to live an extra, 4 minutes. I chose to not go into the scary lab of death that I was told to avoid. Biggest mistake that I could have possibly made. Probably would have killed my character and I could have ended this sooner. The fourth decision I made, I chose to turn the game off. For those of you who like interactive novels, more power to you. Play what you like. This felt like a colossal waste of time. The artwork's pretty, but nothing moves, so it's no prettier than an illustration in a book. Looking it up online, this demo is 3 hours long. I would rather watch my parents make love. Whoever made this game, they wanted to write a book, and they signed with the first publisher that said yes, and accidentally ended up with a game company. Not even the demo.
Oh, wow. Okay, so t-shirt idea. Oh, we'll circle back. Oh, boy. All right. Well, I'm sorry, Chad. Thank you.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah. Justin.
Yo.
So, I noticed that you've been kind of busy over there on your internet machine. What have you been up to?
Oh, just looking at pictures of Chad's mom.
Okay.
No, I'm
what
kidding.
Relevant to the podcast have you been up to?
I'm kidding. Chad's mom is a wonderful woman, and I love her to death. So, as many of you know, I don't get to play many games, but I have a wide breadth of knowledge I think is useful to the gaming community. And so I've been going through Reddit's Ask Games to find questions that I think deserve a definitive answer. And I do all this in a little segment that I like to call...
Ask Justin. The Geek Cave podcast and its associates, including Justin, do not condone the advice given in this segment.
Thank you, Nigel. This month's question. Does anyone know the name of the game? Well, do you mean the name of the game? The American television series starring Tony Francisca, Gene Barry, and Robert Stack, which aired from 1968 to 71 on NBC, totaling 76 episodes and 90 minutes each. The show that was a wheel series setting the stage for The Bold Ones and the NBC Mystery Movie of the Week in the 70s? Or are you talking about the name of the game? The 1977 song by Swedish pop group ABBA, released as the first single off the group's fifth studio album, ABBA, the album? The one that became a UK number one, topping the UK singles charts for 4 weeks in November 77? Or perhaps Name of the Game, the feature-length commentary about the team-up between the legendary arcade designer Eugene Jarvis and the Finnish game developer Housemarque, that resulted in the critically acclaimed PS4 PC title Nex Machina, the film that gives the audience an unprecedented access to the unpredictable and plain crazy world of making a game, uncensored? Or maybe Name of the Game, the title of the premiere episode of The Boys, an American superhero television series developed by Eric Kripke for Amazon Prime Video, based on the comic book of the same name by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson, that follows the eponymous team of vigilantes as they combat superpowered individuals who abuse their abilities? No, I don't know the name of the game.
Was there a screenshot perhaps included in the question?
I don't know. I look at the title. I look at the question. I move on.
That's all right. That's
I don't
fair.
have time for no screenshots.
Well, with what little time you do have you been playing anything?
Actually, yes. I got another game from GameFly that I chose basically by its cover. I did not read up on it. I just chose it. In fact, I think my spouse said, "Ooh, you should play this one." And I looked at it and said, "Yeah, that looks like a fun cover."
Okay.
Garfield's Lasagna Party.
Okay.
Have you ever been playing Super Mario? Mario? Have you ever been playing Mario Party?
Okay.
And thought to yourself, "Gee, this is fun, but you know what would make it better? A crappier version with crappier games, crappier animation, and a different set of franchised characters." Then by all means, Garfield's Lasagna Party is for you. It is effectively Mario Party with really bad games, bad controls, 3D Garfield, which I'm still not a fan of. He's 2D. Yeah, that's it. You can either play as Garfield, Odie, Arlene, or Nermal, and you just go around this board. After round 3 of 10, I turned it off.
So it sounds like the typical Mario Party experience, just somehow worse.
Yes.
And I say this as someone who has not had fun with a Mario Party game in a long time.
I mean, maybe if I'd had 3 other players. I was playing it solo against the computer.
Oh, yeah, there's your first mistake.
That was my... Well, no, I'm going to say that was my second mistake.
What was the first?
Getting the game.
You should play this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
I did also... Unrelated... I did also get to try a little bit of Kirby Return to Dreamland.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah. Well, I was player 2 in this, in my experience, so why don't you tell me about yours, and I'll fill in the gaps.
Okay. Kirby Return to Dreamland is an upscale of a Nintendo Wii title. Either Wii or Wii U. I'm drawing a blank on which.
Wii. I think it was Wii.
Okay, but it's a side-scrolling Kirby game. You kind of know what you're getting there. It's fun. It's low difficulty, unless you're trying to complete the thing, because completionists, there's a whole lot. They added this whole extra section called Merry Mago Land, which is a whole bunch of mini-game stuff that's been crammed in there. But as far as basic gameplay, I mean, it's Kirby, so it's good. You know, it's you walk around eating dudes and getting their powers and sometimes transforming into crazy, ridiculous things. And yeah, I mean, I liked it. I didn't have any major complaints.
As I said, I was player 2 to my son, and I got to play as Meta Knight, which is always fun for me. He is my go-to in Smash Brothers.
There's a reason
he has
we
a
don't play
sword.
Smash.
He can fly. It's fun.
Yeah.
You really only need the second player during the boss fights, because otherwise player 2 is just kind of there. I could do things, but my son is so skilled at games these days that he just barrels ahead, and I'm just like, cool.
It makes me think of the new Super Mario Brothers franchise, where players 2 through 4 can just put themselves in a bubble and float along as Mario does all the work.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And
well,
Meta Knight does have wings, so I could literally just fly above if I wanted.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a Kirby game. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I've got some brief thoughts on a couple other games before we get to the main attraction. So let's start with Atomic Heart. This game was released on Game Pass, on PC, on Xbox consoles. So you're familiar with BioShock.
Yes.
Fantastic world building, super atmospheric. You get to combine powers with gunplay. It's great. What if we took BioShock, we put it in an alternate world where Soviet Russia has basically taken over most of the Earth. We put some sexy ballerina robots in there, and then we make it shit.
You make the game bad, or you make the game physically...
The former.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Atomic Heart, and I played this on both the Xbox Series S and the PC to compare versions, and I found the same problems in both versions, in that I can't speak to the other translations, but the English translation with the vocal dub and all that, it seems to be a little sped up. Almost as if they didn't quite know how to do an English-speaking cadence. And as a result, those comedy sketches where everyone's talking over everyone and you can't really understand because they're just joke right after one after. So that's all of the dialogue in Atomic Heart. If you're not talking to your sassy robotic glove, you're also talking to sassy, remnants of dead guys, like as their consciousness fades, or you're talking to sassy robots it's just, dude, one of the save machines wanted to have sex with my hand because of the robotic glove And I had to sit there and I had to listen to it happen because I needed to save the game. The gunplay is fine. The abilities are cool. It's just that the writing is, they're like, all right, look, what worked for BioShock was it was moody, it was dark, but it was also a little bit bonkers. How about we just take away the dark and the moody and just go 120% into the bonkers category? And that would be fine if it was charming in the least, but this is not. So, yeah, Atomic Heart is a no-go for me.
You need a hand with that?
Moving on.
Oh, boy.
I played the demo of Resident Evil 4. It's available now on the big ones, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox and the PC.
The big boys.
Yeah. And by the time you hear this, the actual game has dropped. And Resident Evil 4 is a remake of the GameCube/Wii/PS2 title by the same name. Resident Evil 4 is the first Resident Evil game I completed. And so I do have fond memories of the game. So going back in with the demo, they changed a few things. It's clear that they're going for kind of like the same remake treatment that Resident Evil 2 got. And kind of the same treatment that Final Fantasy VII Remake got, in that they have the opportunity to change some things in the story and update it a little bit better. It's also hard as hell. So I did not complete the demo after multiple attempts. What I played was good, and it looked great. So I'm certain that the finished product is going to be awesome. And if that finished product has a difficulty level adjuster, boy, I'd sure like to know about it, because the demo kicked my ass thoroughly. Is there anything else, gentlemen?
I'm good.
I have not.
All right. Kent?
It was created by a madman. Ignored and rejected. Every week it grows. We cannot kill it, for it does not live. Step fast and be wary, or you may fall victim to Darrin's Pile of Shame.
All right, it's time for you guys to get some straight dick. And by dick, I mean Tracy. And by Tracy, I mean the guy whose first name is Dick. We are full on into the year of the NES for the Pile of Shame reviews, where we take a look back at Nintendo's little console that basically saved gaming. And we see 40 years later if a random assortment of games from the NES would still have been good enough if we leave Zelda and Mario off the table, or Metroid as well. So, Dick Tracy is if the NES game Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the original Grand Theft Auto from the PS1 had a baby that only had slight brain damage. It is based on the 1990 movie, and the graphics are passable for an NES game that came out in 1990, although Dick Tracy does look like he got the Hulk Hogan treatment with the horrible, horrible suntan and bright yellow coat, whereas everyone else has skin colors that range from jaundice to pretty sure that dude's made out of lavender, which is a choice. Although the movie was super colorful, and I get it, and that's what they're going with. So I'm going to get all the good out of the way. So the graphics are fine, because I got a lot to shit on here. There are 2 or 3 songs on the soundtrack that are pretty good, which is good, because you're going to hear those 2 or 3 songs the entire time you play the game. You have plenty of options for combat. You've got like a normal fist. You got a super punch. You pick up like a giant boxing glove, and then you punch a guy, and he just bounces all over the room, and it's a fun visual. You have a normal gun. You got a Tommy gun. And you have tear gas, which they call it tear gas, but it's very clearly just a hand grenade, because it clears the entire screen whenever you use the item. And I think that the concept of the game is fun in that each level's a case, and you have to travel to different spots in the city and collect clues. You can't just immediately go to the bad guys and just arrest them, because if you interrogate or arrest someone without enough evidence, you'll get, accused of abuse of power. And if you do that 3 times, it's game over. So, neat idea, right? All right, so now let's talk about all the rest of the stuff. So, yeah, you are traveling to different spots in the city, and you got to be in your little cop car to do this for the overworld. And there are snipers on the roof of damn near every other building in this city. This city, which, by the way, does not have a map function. So if you need to get to 5th and B, you just got to, find an address and then start counting streets and hope to God you didn't pass it. Because some streets end in dead ends, and there are snipers that, if you're not careful, you got to get out of your car to shoot them. You can't just shoot them from your car, and they will hit you, within a split second of appearing on the screen. And you only get 4 police badges for health, so if you get shot enough times, you could get killed before you get to the first platforming section. It's pretty darn quick. Clues that you collect in those action sections. Some of them get written down on your notepad, which Dick Tracy, for a detective, doesn't carry the notepad around with him. You got to go back to the police station because somehow it's permanently bonded to the desk for some reason. And so why would I bother carrying a notepad? I'm a goddamn detective. I don't need no stated notepad. I'm going to fly by my own rules. I'm too old for this shit. Other police cliches. Sometimes there's a car chase. Whenever you go to a certain area, you get a clue, you leave, and there's a car chase, and that, first of all, you're instantly going to take a hit as soon as the car chase starts. Secondly, you better keep up with that guy and keep shooting, because that's the only time the gun on your car makes any bit of a damn. And third, if you do manage to stop the car is going to spin out of control and hit you, and you're going to take damage anyway, because screw you, kid. This is 1990, and you better buy this game if you want to complete it, because you're not beating it in a rental period. Now, if you do arrest someone, like I said, without enough evidence, you get in trouble. And if you do have enough evidence, they'll just say something that will usually point you towards the next clue, and eventually you'll get enough evidence to arrest a guy, and he goes away, and you get a password for the next level, which is good because, like I said, no extra lives, no continues, 1 life. You better get that password. And each case has a different number of suspects too. Game takes about an hour to beat it if you know what you're doing, but trust me, most people will give up way before then because the combat is a little loose. Little loose whenever you get into the platforming sections. Climbing stairs makes no sense. The background, sometimes you can walk on it, sometimes you can't. I remember in particular a fire escape where I didn't think I could get up there because it looked just like a flat shadow. Turns out I can get up there. But the ledge next to it, that does look like I can land on, I cannot land on that. Why? Reasons. So that's fun. Oh, and also, I have to take time to personally speak to whoever decided how the first aid kits in this game work. Listen to me. Come here. So, anytime I want to select an item from my inventory, I hit B. I hit the select button, and then I hit B. That's it, right? So, when I select first aid, if I hit B, nothing happens. If I'm in the middle of a gunfight and I'm trying to use first aid and I just hit B, I'm going to die. So what do you have to do? You have to go to the first aid, press select and B at the same time. But keep in mind that if first aid is on the screen, when you hit select again, it's going to move to the next available item in your inventory anyway. So you got to get to the item before first aid, and you don't know what that is unless you cycle through and then select and B. Can I just ask you a question, a mystery developer? Why? Just why? Now, after every arrest, there is a screen where Breathless Mahoney flirts with you and Big Boy talks shit. And I'm not kidding. That is literally, it's just it's a flat screen with the 3 heads, Dick Tracy's head, Big Boy's head, and Breathless Mahoney. It's almost like she's standing behind Big Boy and flirting with you while he's talking shit, which just makes for some hilarious, scenery. Now, eventually you do get the chance to arrest Big Boy, but unlike every single one of his goons, where you go, you beat up the bad guys, and when you try to make the arrest, you just punch the goon, and that's it. You know, he just comes with you quietly. One punch. Big Boy will fight you, and he will fight you hard. He is a real bastard. Plus, his nightclub is crawling with armed goons. It is easily the most deadly spot in the whole game, including falling safes, as in, like, freaking combination safes that fall out of the sky at random spots. This has not been a thing in the entire rest of the game, but it is now. Why? Screw you, kid. So you finally managed to beat him, and I got to the ending. And the ending is literally just the third song on the game's 3-song soundtrack. And it plays while Dick reads a newspaper. And the newspaper is about how, like, hey, the crime is over, and he smiles, and that's it. That's all you get. That's the end of the game. If this game wasn't a movie tie-in, I don't think anyone would remember it. And the fact that it is a movie tie-in means that I should have expected what I got, because movie tie-in games back then were awful. But Dick Tracy is bad to the level of willfulness. This isn't a case of developers making a bad game or a hard game because, they were on a time crunch or it's a movie tie-in. No, who cares? No. Some of the design decisions were purposefully made, which meant they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing was wrong, and they did it anyway. Throw Dick Tracy in prison for life. This game is not worth playing. It should not be remembered. And thank God we do have Mario and Zelda, because the NES would not have survived if this was the kind of stuff they had at launch.
Speaking of movie tie-ins for that, here's a fun little fact.
Okay.
So Warren Beatty owns the rights to Dick Tracy.
Of course.
Specifically the character from the movie.
Yeah.
And in order to retain those rights, every few years he has to do something with it. So he has put on not one, but 2 30-minute specials for, like, Turner Classic Movies or whatever, in which people like Leonard Maltin interview Dick Tracy, which is just Warren Beatty with a yellow coat draped over him and the hat.
Okay. Warren, if you're listening, the Geek Cave podcast will happily help you meet your quota. With one caveat. You have to come to one of our recordings and you have to play Dick Tracy on the NES in front of us.
I believe in the second one, it was released during the worst of COVID times, so it was all done virtually. Dick Tracy and Warren Beatty were having a Zoom call together.
Okay. I will say, though, in defense of the franchise, there was a Genesis version of the game. I played a little bit of it just for comparison, and it's actually quite good. So, if you're looking to get some Dick in your life, check out Dick Tracy on the Genesis.
But if you want some bad Dick in your life,
yeah. If you don't care about the quality of your Richards, then go for Richard Tracy on the NES. I am pretty sure that movie was popular when we were kids because it gave us all an excuse to say that word over and over again.
Probably.
Tracy.
Yes.
So be sure to listen to our other podcasts, including Geek Cave Comics, which went online yesterday, and Movies, which will hit the internet tomorrow. You Want Me to Watch What? And the Week 3 podcast, as well as the occasional TLDR. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Geek Cave Podcast and Geek Cave Podcast 2 for live streams. You can also check out Geek Cave Plays and the very, very sporadic Retromantics on our YouTube channel. We're working on getting those back up and running. I just need to administer the right number of foot rubs. And you can also find all of our social media channels at geekcavepodcast.com. So while you're at our website, be sure to join our Discord server. You can chat with us one-on-one, meet other Geek Cave fans, share your ideas, and get early access to each new episode. For Kent, Justin, and Chad, I'm Darrin. Remember, Just because someone has paint on their shoes, that is not probable cause, and everyone's a geek for something.